Hello Internet, I'm Neil from Genio, and today I'm going to show you how we roast some coffee at Genio Roasters. So we're on our way to the test bench where we've got a 15 kilo roaster set up and busy roasting at the moment. We're actually cooling. Here we are. Just finished a small batch, 12 kilo. So the next batch we're going to do is a 17.5 kilo batch on a 15 kilo roaster. That's right, boys and girls. You can actually do more than what the machine is designed to do on a Genio. I know that the books say that you can't do it on anything else, but on a Genio you can. So I'm going to get set up and I'll get back to you soon. Okay, so to get ready for the roast we need to select a profile that we're going to copy. Now we don't have any 17.5 kilo profiles, so I'm going to select a Costa Rica. We're going to do an Ethiopian Jaeger Chef grade 2 now, but I'm going to get a Costa Rican that is a 16 kilo roast, also more than the design spec of the machine. So let's just pull that up, and we do that by going through our profiles. This is all of the profiles that we've ever done on this machine, all stored locally on the database. So I can see here there is a 16.5 kilo batch. I can view it, I can choose to delete it, share it to my friends which it will export and it can be imported to any other Genio roaster. I can just export the file and email it, or I can actually preview, see what this profile is all about, see all the parameters, the roast time, the final temperatures, my development percentage and development time, turn point time, and first crack temperature and time. So yeah, this is good. Let's load it up, and this will actually set up the machine to be ready for this particular roast. But just because it's a little bit larger than the previous roast, I'm going to choose a 235 degree prime temperature. So we are stable on 233. We'll go a little bit up and down because it's a pretty high temperature, but if the temperature drops below, it'll simply increase the gas until it reaches its set point. Okay, so our roast is all set up for 17.5 kilo Ethiopian Jaeger grade 2 on a 15 kilo Genio. This is the profile we have loaded. We've got a starting temperature of 235 degrees. And we're not going to try and duplicate this because this is a Costa Rica roast. We're doing an Ethiopian and it's also a slightly smaller roast, but just to have something for reference in the background. And just so that you know, this is a stock standard machine. There's nothing funny about it. No modifications have been done. We're running a standard 19 kilo gas cylinder. We got the beans in, all ready to start. All I do, start a roast on a Genio machine, is to make sure that my settings are where I want to start with it. So we're going to have full drum speed. We're going to start with a slightly lower fan speed, full gas. And what I do is I switch to roast and drop my beans. Bean temperature is dropping. I've got my fan set on 25 Hertz, gas on 100, and drum on full speed, which is 60 Hertz at the moment. So we're going to monitor the profile. I'd like to hit my turning point at about 2 minutes, maybe 80 degrees, maybe a little bit lower. Let's see where it goes. And we're about to hit the turning point, even a little bit higher than what I was aiming for. So at 2 minutes roast time, I increase my fan ever so slightly to 28 Hertz. There's my fan, 28 Hertz. And you can see in real time that I've stepped up my fan to 28 Hertz. My turn point has been logged automatically for me at 1 minute 57 at 82.7 degrees. I can see that my turn point's over there, slightly higher than the previous roast, which was even a smaller batch. So let's go. And while that's going, I'm going to show you the shop. So this machine is going to a customer in East London. We've got a crated roaster here ready to go to Bahrain in the Middle East. We've got a machine here ready for Reunion Island. And then in the assembly bay, we've got a 6 kilo, another 6 kilo that's going to Germany, 6 kilo going to Germany, 6 kilo going to Germany, a 6 kilo that we're building up for stock, a 15 kilo going to Germany, and another 15 that we're building up for stock. And over here we've got more stock that'll soon be ready to go out the shop. And that's the entire assembly bay of Genio Roasters. So let's see where we are. We should have hit our maximum rate of rise. Yeah, we're getting up to it. So here is the orange line is the rate of rise, bean rate of rise. So it's looking perfect. We've got more than enough energy in the drum. At 4 minutes, I again step up my roasting fan. You can see it over there, the 28. We're going to put it on 32 to make sure that we're drawing lots and lots of fresh air, well, hot air, but fresh air into the drum. So we maxed out at 7.3 rate of rise, which is perfectly fine. This is going to be a slightly fast roast, but that's good. So let's keep pushing. See what the beans are looking like. We're getting up to the yellow phase. Take a little sample. They're not quite yellow yet, but we are getting there. And let's see. So that little dip and a bump over there is because of the fan step up. It's maybe a little bit sharp of a step up. I should have done it a bit slower, but that's okay. And again, top to bottom, we've got our bean temperature, bean rate of rise over 30 seconds, environment temperature, environment rate of rise over 30 seconds. That's a light blue line here. We don't really do much with it at the moment. We've got our roasting time, development percentage and time, turn point degrees and time, and our first crack. This is of the previous roast. So once I hit the first crack button, that's going to log first crack for this profile. So right now we're just monitoring, making sure everything's fine. And 2 minutes in, I'm going to step up the roasting fan again. Let's put it at 36 Hertz, which is quite high. But that's good. It means that we can get rid of all that chaff, suck it out of the drum with a nice powerful fan, and also transfer lots of energy because our gas is quite high. So the higher the gas and the higher the fan, the more hot air we draw into the drum and the better how our heat transfer is. Let me show you the gas valve, the gas gauge. Here we go, at maximum gas. Because our gas is set to maximum, over there, at 100%. And it's looking good for an oversized batch. I can probably push it up to 18 or more kilos, but for this test, 17.5. I can again see a little bump, which is again correlated with my fan increase. I can also see that my environment temperature is going up slightly. That's probably also because of the fan increases. So that just means that we are suddenly drawing more energy into the drum, so that we can get this roast done pretty quickly. Let's have a look at the beans again. Got a nice yellow phase going. Take a sample. Yeah, there we are. Nice yellow phase on its way. And at 160, I'm going to turn down the gas. So the gas is at 100% right now. And we're going to turn it down from 2.5 kPa, a little bit down to 2.1. Yeah, there we are. And of course, this is completely stepless. There are no steps. You can set it to 2.11, 2.12. You can set it to anything. There are no high burner, low burner, anything like that. So let's step up the fan once more to full speed, which is at 38 Hertz for this particular roast, but we can set that maximum lower or higher, whatever you want. So I can see here, maximum fan, slight step down in the gas pressure, and at 170 degrees bean temperature, I'm going to drop it once more in anticipation of the exothermic phase during roasting. So just before first crack, we're going to hit the exothermic phase. First crack should happen at about 186, 87, something like that. I'm not very familiar with this bean. At 170, I turn down my gas, and we can see it on the pressure gauge right over there. We're sitting at 1.9 kPa, normal LPG, 19 kilo cylinder with a stock standard regulator. So here we go. And this is where the interesting bit starts. So we're in endothermic at the moment, which means that the beans are still taking up energy. But just before first crack, the beans are going to start expelling energy. And that's what led to this little bump in my previous profile here, so I can compare it with my current one. I know that the bump is coming, so I might as well anticipate it. And that's why we are turning down the gas in a couple of steps. Down about 25% from what it was from its maximum point. So let's listen for that first crack. It's going to start coming up pretty soon. And once we hit first crack, I'm going to hit the first crack button, and that'll log the new temperature and time, and also show me on the screen that we have hit the first crack. Again, 17.5 kilo roast, just for fun, on a 15 kilo roaster. Yes, you can do more than the design limit of a machine on a Genio. And there we are, first crack. I can hear it, hit the button, it draws a little line for me, and of course all of this data points is stored in the database, so I can pull up this roast again and do exactly the same thing using my profile system. We are not in profile at the moment, we're just doing a completely manual roast. So a little step up in my rate of rise, and that's because the exothermic phase has kicked in. So let's step down the gas again. It's at 76%. Let's turn it down to 72%. And that 72% in pressure is sitting at 1.75 kPa. I'm sure you can hear the first crack. See, that's looking good. Got a rolling first crack going. I've got a pretty low gas at the moment. Maximum fan, maximum drum speed all the way. I do have a little bump, fair enough, I'm not the best roaster in the world, but that's actually fine because this also means that I've successfully activated my exothermic phase. There's lots of theories around that point, but you know what, the proof is in the tasting. So beautiful rolling first crack right now. And coincidentally, our first crack was almost exactly the same temperature as the previous roast, which was a smaller roast, but shorter by about 30 seconds or so. So right now we're just pushing through. I'm going to aim for about a 20% development percentage over there, and then we'll take the beans out and show you what that looks like. Let's see here, looking good, bit of smoke coming off the beans, nice color. Get the focus right, yeah, there we are, another one. Looking beautiful for an Ethiopian yig. And yes, we do test our machines with specialty coffee. I can see that my environment temperature and bean temperature is getting close to each other, so it's probably about time to take it out right now. 20%. I fire up my cooling system, the agitator, the cooling fan, and switch the machine to prime and open up. Beautiful first crack in the bin. Alright, and the agitator starts and stops by design. So the theory, or the practice, is that while it's turning, we are stirring the beans, but we're not cooling optimally. So we have the agitator stop every few seconds, at about 40 seconds off, 20 seconds on, something like that. It stops, and at this point we are cooling at the maximum rate possible, and you can hear those motors firing. Start, stop, start, stop, and that's by far the fastest way to cool coffee. All controlled by our Genio control system, of course. And on the screen, we can choose to save this profile. Yeah, we're definitely going to save it. It is a Ethiopian bean. Come on. It's an Ethiopian Jäger Chef. The green weight was 17.5. We can weigh the roasted weight afterwards, and it'll of course give us our weight loss. Let's put a little note here that says huge roast. Yeah. And save the profile. And while we were doing all of this, the machine has been in prime, so it's already getting itself ready for the next batch, which will again start at 235 while the beans are cooling. Of course we can start roasting now, there's nothing that stops us, but we've got to wait for the machine to cool down a little bit. And there we are, 235, and we can start the next batch. I don't have a next batch prepared, but you can actually start right now and roast and cool simultaneously. And I can see on the screen, compare what I've done in this roast compared to the previous roast. It's almost pretty much exactly the same. A little bit faster on this roast. 14 minutes 25 seconds on a 17.5 kilo batch. 21% development percentage at 3 minutes development time. And of course, I can easily go and reload this profile. There's my huge roast we just did. I can do a little preview to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's load it up. Well, first, all of the important roast parameters are displayed on the screen, so you'll always know exactly what this roast is all about. Load it up. And we are ready for the next batch. So now I can actually go and recreate this profile exactly the same. So one really cool feature about a Genio is when we do switch to roast, let's just pretend to be roasting right now. It puts this reference profile of ours in the background. What I can do is at the moment, my settings are all on manual. So we're running 71% gas and a 38 Hertz fan. But what if I wanted to reproduce my stored profile exactly the same without having to sit here and manually step up at the given intervals? Well, that's pretty simple. All I do is set my roasting fan to auto, and in auto it sticks like a magnet to the reference profile, and you simply recreate this entire profile. I can do the same thing with gas, auto, drum, auto, and as you can see there, it simply sticks to exactly what the reference profile did, and it'll keep following these little step ups and step downs just like it's supposed to. And if I want to take manual control, I simply click it out and take manual control. So that's me controlling the fan manually. Let's ramp it up. Here we are. Let's ramp it down again. Or we can just click it back to auto and have it duplicate that profile exactly. Same thing with the gas. Right now, let's cut the gas. I can see here my temperatures going up and down, and that's because we hit the thermal cutout of the bean temperature. So we hit 240. You're not supposed to be roasting above 240 bean temperature. So it actually cut out and reignited itself while we were talking. So I don't have to reignite the burners, I don't have to worry about it or care about it. It'll just look after itself and make sure that it can never go above that safety cutout point. So as you can see there, the fan is in auto, and it did an automatic step up following that line exactly from my reference, and it'll keep doing that up until the end of the roast. So by now, I reckon our beans should be cool. Yeah, that's perfectly cool, room temperature. I can stop my cooling system, put the machine into standby. So in standby mode, it'll simply cool itself down to room temperature and shut down. So here we are, freshly roasted coffee, beautiful. Almost forgot, last but not least, is emptying your cooling bin. So this is a pretty important part. It's taken many revisions to get it to this point. To make sure that these scrapers of our agitators can clear out every single last bean in the bin. So we switch on our agitator on the control panel, fire it up, open up the flaps, and let's see if it can actually clean out every last bean without me interfering with it. I don't need a brush or a scraper or something like that to help it on. I can simply leave it. And that's me making a mess. So let's see, we got the internal scraper, making sure that no beans end up closest to the axis. And we step up those scrapers along the diameter of the shaft of the cooling bin, and there we are, perfectly clean cooling bin, not a single bean left. I didn't touch it, I didn't interfere with it. It's just clean, and as you can see on a huge batch, there's no chaff stuck in between the little holes. It's perfectly clean, ready to drink. Enjoy. So thank you for watching my video. It's a Saturday morning. I've got some roasting to do and I wanted to test this machine. So thanks for following me and having a look at what we do here. And there's plenty more videos on its way. Thanks. Bye.